Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Holistic Hacks. Um, Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about mental health awareness and understanding your emotions. Now, I understand mental health awareness was last month, but so was Fibromyalgia Awareness Month. And I had to decide, am I going to go with my work or am I going to go with my life and my life one? But anybody who watches this knows I love my work, so we are going to be talking about mental health awareness as well. Um, so, when it comes to understanding your emotions, I do want to bring a little bit of a different twist to it. You know me. Um, I think it's really, really important for people to first understand that yes, mental health is something that society has become a lot more open to, and there definitely is a lot more awareness around mental health. However, from my professional and personal experience, I have noticed that although there is a lot more awareness, there is still a severe lack of understanding of what that actually means for somebody that is living with a mental health condition, particularly a chronic one. Um, and the stigma around mental health is still very much alive. And not just about the stigma, but it's the internalized stigma, and that's the stuff I want to focus on today. Because when somebody hears the word mental health, they immediately assume paranoid schizophrenia or personality disorders becoming more prevalent or bipolar or something that involves some form of psychosis. Anxiety and depression get listed a lot more, especially since the pandemic. A lot more people are starting to understand the impact of anxiety and depression on people's day-to-day lives. But even then, I think the sad part for me, anyways, that I find is when you do speak to people who are quite open and aware about mental health, and you just ask them for the generic signs and symptoms of mental health, they couldn't list you even five. And that just goes to show that, there's so much talk about mental health, but not a lot of understanding. And this is what makes it really sad, because without this understanding, we are never going to be able to do the work that we need to do on ourselves, because we don't recognize ourselves as having to do any work. So, what I mean by that is that what people don't understand is a lot of the signs and symptoms of mental health are very generic. And don't worry, I've left you a link there in an article that I've already written that goes to the generic signs of mental health, and some of them will surprise you, yeah? But a lot of the signs are quite subtle and can impact people, especially where you have mild anxiety, mild depression, can impact you very subtly over time. And so what you don't realize is happening to you is that during this time, because you're not aware that there's a mental health problem, you will start to make not to be so rude to say excuses for yourself, but that's what you kind of do. So, oh, I'm just a little bit tired. Oh, I'm just a little extra moody. Oh, I'm just very cranky. Oh, I've not slept well recently. Listing all the signs and symptoms of mental health and not realizing that you're actually going through it. Um, and there is, I think the saddest part that happens with this, sorry, I'm trying to figure out ways of saying this of not triggering people because, well, you've met me, I trigger a lot of people. So, the best way of really saying why this is so important is because what happens then is all those lies you tell yourself, right? You interject them and you start to believe them and you start to think that that's just you, that's just your personality, when in reality, it's not. It's your mental health, and you can actually be happier. But it's about identifying what needs to change. And this is where sitting with your emotions and understanding your emotions are very, very important, because when you sit with your emotions, what you're doing is you're processing them, you're learning from them. Your emotions are telling you a story, whether it's positive or negative. And a lot of the times, people don't want to sit with negative emotions because they're uncomfortable. But you're never going to grow, you're never going to heal, and you're definitely never going to change if you do not sit with those negative emotions. And so, just to give you an example, jealousy, right? Jealousy is a common one that we like to use as an example, because jealousy can be perceived as a negative emotion when you don't know how to manage it properly. But jealousy is actually the formulation of desire. So when you're jealous about something, it's because you desire that thing. Your brain is now, or your heart, whatever, is now telling you that actually I want that. That's why I'm jealous, right? And having that understanding helps you to now navigate your way better, because now you know, oh, I need to make this change, or I need to make that change. Like, and I suppose the really, really most important thing to really drive home here is that you cannot make any changes until you accept the bad parts of yourself. I know it's bad, yeah, but there's good, there's bad in all of us, and if you don't like the bad, accept it and then change it. But I've gone way over time, and we'll talk about that next week when we explore self-actualization.